Welcome to Clocking the Gallop, and we are joined today by trainer Brett Crawford, one of the leading trainers in South Africa, and he's talking to us about the weekend wrap. He's got runners in Durban on Vodacom Durban, July Day at Greyville on Saturday, and he's got runners on Sunday at Kenilworth. So joining us on the line is Brett Crawford. Brett, great to see you again. You're back from a bit of a trip around the country, you were telling me. You've been traveling to some of the stud farms, just seeing what the Empress Palace National Yearling Sales Draft will look like, and you were pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, morning, Nico. Yes, we did a bit of a round trip on Sunday, left for Kimberley, went to Maritzfontein, and then went across to PE to look at some of the yearlings at Ascot. So nice to see what's going to be on offer in a week's time. And, obviously interesting times with the new platforms for sale, and it's going to be very interesting to see how things go. But it was nice to see some of the yearlings, which theoretically are going to be two in a week or two's time.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we talk about yearling sales, but of course, one day they are one, and the second day of the sale, they're actually two. So it's a national yearling sale stroke national two-year-old sale combined in one. But interesting times we live in.
For sure.
Brett, when are you traveling to Durban then? I mean, when are you getting down there?
Nico, I'm actually not going to go.
Okay.
I'm going to stay here and be here on Saturday. So Peter will be in charge. He's done a great job so far this season. So it'll also be something new for me to be watching the July from Cape Town for the first time in many years.
Yeah, fantastic. But I mean, Peter Muscutt, we talk about him very fondly, and he's done such a good job for you down there. Okay, let's talk about what your runners look like on Saturday. You're well represented in the first race of the day. Of course, we've got Traces, who's a reserve runner at the moment, but you've got three in there: Juan, Speed Point, and Sunset Eyes. I think Speed Point, let's talk about him first. I think he's just been a bit disappointing the last couple of runs, because I thought he'd run a lot better last time out and the previous run as well. But he hasn't finished too far off them, but I'm expecting a bit better from a one draw.
Yeah, Nico, he's only had the one run for us, which was his last start. And that was after being off the track for close to a year off the track. So he did need that run. He's looking outstanding, and his work has really been out of the top draw. He's a very capable horse on his day. Obviously, I think he's come on immensely. Peter's been very pleased with his prep going into this race. So, he's definitely a fitter horse this time around. If you watch his last run, he actually moved up to be competitive, and then he just blew up the last half a furlong. So definitely a horse you need to consider on the day. And it wouldn't surprise me if he ran a massive race.
And then Juan, obviously you've engaged Anton Marcus to ride him, and he won on him so well last time out. So he's a horse that certainly has done his racing. He's had 7 wins from 23 starts. He's really been a good campaigner for your stable.
Yeah, he has, Nico. He's been a great horse, and that just shows you what a different centre that can do, because he lost his way a little bit in Cape Town, and then we decided to send him up to Peter, and Peter's done a fantastic job with him, managed to turn his form around, and each run in the tallies he's got progressively better. I thought he won really well last time, and I think he's going to love the poly. It's his first run on the poly, but I'm going to have no issues with that. I really think he'll thrive on it, and I think once again he's a horse that will definitely be in the play on Saturday.
Okay, the last of your trifecta is Sunset Eyes. He's getting on in years now, but I mean, if you look at his form, he does like the poly too. I mean, he's run 3 times on the poly, and he's won all 3 times. So he's another one that certainly you can't just glance over.
Exactly, Nico. He's been off the track for a while because he had a few issues with his fetlocks that we had to sort out. So he's come back, and he's really come back in fine form. He's a hard knocking horse, and as you say, he just loves the poly. He's the type horse that does a lot of work at home. So he's a type horse, even though he's been off for a long time, I still think that he himself makes himself fit enough. He does so much at home that we think that he managed to have a gallop on the poly. and he's been doing really well. So, I think we've got 3 nice chances in the race, and I would definitely include them in your quartets and trifectas.
Okay, let's move on to the 4th race where you've got the mare Dynasties Blossom. She also likes gravel. I mean, she's won the big race over there over distance and that, and I think she's got a very lively chance there. Of course, another one that came to you very recently in recent times, but I mean, she's got bloody good form.
Very much so. Winner of the Gold Cup last year, and obviously she's going to love this trip. We did have her in the Oaks last week, but with them postponing the meeting, we got permission to scratch her, and because the target was always to go for this race into the Gold Cup. So, she's a filly. She's a little bit of a tricky filly in terms of that you've got to get her to settle quickly in a race, because she can take a hold, and if she does too much in a race, then obviously she doesn't finish like she can. But she's really done well in the last, say, 3 weeks from her first start there, and there's no doubt that she's a fitter horse and very capable. We know she sees the trip, so we're expecting a nice effort from her.
Okay, then it's Grade 1 time, and it's over to the Garden Province Stakes, where Pretty Young Thing comes out for you. She's only had 1 run over that trip, and that was in the Fillies Guineas in Cape Town, where she ran behind Mississippi Burning. But just talk to us about her as an individual. I mean, she's done very well. 5 wins from 11 starts. Anton Marcus gets back aboard her. What's the feedback from Anton been like riding her at work in that?
Look, I mean, Nika, she won the Poinsettia in fine style, and she showed a lot of speed in that race, and even in the South African filly sprint, we were hoping to ride her a bit quieter than the way she raced. She came out quickly with Keegan, and basically she had no cover, and she just did a bit too much, and hence never finished her race off in the filly sprint. So she's a filly that also will have to get cover. We have changed a few things on her. Peter's looking at a tongue tie and possibly even racing her in ear muffs to try and get her to settle. She's definitely capable. I think she's going to love gravel. The way she can quicken, she's got a fantastic turn of foot. Obviously, you have respect for Clouds Unfold and for Celtic Sea, 2 top-class fillies. I think Celtic Sea was a winner of this race last year, if I'm not mistaken. And Clouds Unfold, she's had, obviously, this has been her target for the season. She's had preparations, 2 preps, I think, leading into this. So, we would like to achieve some black type for Pretty Young Thing. If we could get her in the first 3, that would be mission accomplished. She is a filly that's capable on the day. But in saying that, a mile is a bit of a question mark for us. She seems to have better form over 12 and 7. So it's not going to be easy for her, but she is doing really well. She's a fit filly. So, we're going to take our chances and hopefully we can at least get some black type out of the race.
Fantastic. And the last race on the day is the Tequila Handicap over 1,600 meters. You've got a couple in over here. Let's first of all touch on Gigas Dynasty, if I may. I mean, he's just been a horse that's, again, sparkling form. 7 wins from 17 starts. A great old campaigner for the yard. And Donovan Dillon, who won on him 2 runs back. He's only ridden him the one time and he won on him. He just got up to beat Twist of Fate. That was a fantastic win.
Very much so, Nico. We were extremely disappointed in his next start. And the worst thing was we had absolutely no reason for it. We couldn't find a thing. He was as fresh as anything the next day in the paddock. He just ran a completely flat race last time in that cup trial. He never travelled at all, was never in the race. And he just very much unlike him. He's such a model of consistency. So we're going to draw a line through that. And unfortunately that happens from time to time. But, he's been doing well at home. He looks great. Peter's exceptionally happy. And we know that he has got the ability and, he likes gravel. So he's definitely a horse that I think will bounce back from a disappointing last start.
And Hoodoo Magic's in the race, number 7 on the program. And well, Anton really likes this horse because he keeps on hopping aboard him, and he didn't finish too far off last time out. 2 lengths behind, but he's going a bit further than last time out. And well, I think he's got no reason. I think he's got the trip before and won, so it's the first time he's going over a mile in Durban.
Yeah, Nick, I'm not worried about that. I think, to be honest, I think the mile's not an issue at all for him. Last time, the poly track, it was, for me, I don't think he's a poly horse. They just went a little bit quick in the early part, and he just got a little bit out of his ground. But he did finish his race off. I think he's a much better horse on the grass. So, I think that he's definitely a horse that's probably a little bit under the radar. He's definitely got the ability, and we're expecting a very good run from him.
Okay, so well represented on the Gravel card, but you'll be down in Cape Town, and that's where we're going to go to next. We're going to the Kenilworth meeting, and you've got 10 runners on the meeting there, so it'll be a busy day for you on Sunday. Hopefully we'll be celebrating on Saturday night after the victories at Gravel, and you'll be going to the course looking for another good day. So let's see what you've got there. You've got Camino Palmeira in the first race at Kenilworth, but I see there's quite a few first-timers which would have to have a look at. But what do you think of your runner in the first?
Nico, she's a very well-bred filly, and being by Savannah, I immediately tried to put her over a trip and get her to run over ground, and it just wasn't working because she's a filly that can work well at home, and she just wasn't giving me the same effort in at the race course. So, both the jockeys that rode her suggested to try bringing her back in trip, which we did last time. And she ran a really good race last time. She found a little bit of trouble towards the end of the race, and I think she could have run a bit closer. So we worked her this week in a pair of blinkers, and I must say she worked exceptionally well. So the blinkers will be going forward. They'll be put on for Sunday. And this filly, hard-knocking older horses, young horses always have to be they have to be pretty decent to compete with. And this filly's got the ability. So if she brings her track work to the races and the blinkers do the trick, and obviously the 1200, you've got to respect this filly on Sunday.
Okay, then we move on to the second race of the day. Here you've got the 2 runners, I think, Pennington and Sing Out Loud. Let's talk about Pennington first. Good enough form, and should be right there on that form.
Yeah, look, Pennington, Nico, he's the only runner in that race. That's a maiden, 1950, I think it is. And, he's been knocking on the door. He ran a good race in his penultimate. That was a mile. Then last time, step up and trip, he finished his race off well. The horse that beat him, if I'm not mistaken, was a horse of Mike Robinson's.
Yeah, Sudden Start. He won again.
He came out and won again last week.
And he won very well again last week, yeah.
He did. He looks like a nice horse in the making. So I'd be disappointed if Pennington can't get his head in front for this time round. He's like you say, he's hard knocking, and I think he's got a lot in his favour for Sunday.
Okay, I was going to the next race. I was jumping the gun there. Sing Out Loud is one of 3 runners you've got in the 5th race. I think that's...
I'd like to have Sing Out Loud back in the maidens, Nico.
Sorry, yeah, correct. Sing Out Loud. I was just looking at the wrong page there, but Sing Out Loud is one of 3 runners in the 5th race. And well, let's talk about Sing Out Loud because you touched on hers rather, and she's won twice from her 5 or 6 outings now, and she looks pretty progressive.
Yeah, I think obviously, Nico, we're going as 2-4 now, so it's a big step up, being the 3rd leg of the winter series for the fillies. Obviously, Sing Out Loud won the mile, and then she ran a good place last time in the 1800. She's I don't think she'll have a problem with the trip. She's just a filly that also needs to get settled early. And, it's not really a big field. So even if she is towards the back, hopefully she doesn't have too much ground to make up. And she's definitely a filly that has to be included in all your perms on Sunday.
Flametree and Rockamador.
Flametree, very good last start. She's been a filly that I think we've got back to her best. Was really a good second last time. She did everything right in the race. She's fit and well, and once again, you've got to respect her. Rockamador, she's a very well bred filly. She's a sister to Captain America. She won her maiden, and then she went back to the farm and had a break just before lockdown. And obviously, during lockdown, she didn't come back because of the non-movement and whatever. So she's come back. Hence the reason why she hasn't had had much to do up until now. So it's not going to be easy coming out. But I have managed to have put 2 grass gallops into her. I do think she'll stay every yard of the trip. But on ratings, Nico, she's got a bit of a mountain to climb. I think she's only a 77.
76, yeah.
So she's a filly we'll be aiming to try and get black type. If we could get her into the first 3, then that would be mission accomplished.
Okay, then we move on to the final leg of the winter series for the colts and so forth. Well, Katak is the big talking horse down in Cape Town at the moment. He's just a superb animal in the way that he just comes through his wins and so forth. But I've always rated your Super Silvano. In fact, I remember being down at Durbanville, calling him the one-time home. And I was really impressed with that win. And I always think he's, again, just a couple of inches short of winning the bigger ones. And I really like him. I mean, will he be the horse to give Katak a bit of a go on Sunday?
Look, I think on the strength of their last runs, Nico, I think you would have to say that he looks probably the only horse in the race that could challenge him. Both horses are obviously trying the trip for the first time. Super Silvano on his side, it's quite interesting because his brother, Bold Respect, is an out-and-out 5 furlong horse, 5-6 furlong horse. So I've got to say that in the back of my mind, I've got to be a little bit worried about going 2-4. But he's a very different horse. He stands over a lot of ground. He's a scopy individual. His run in the Derby was really good. So he's just got to go extra 400 meters. And we've had good weather this week, Nico. I'm not sure what's coming. I think we are predicted to get a little bit of rain towards the weekend, so it might still be a little bit soft. So I think he'll run another honest race. The way Katak, he won, we looked a bit cheeky for a little while, but then, when Greg asked the question, Katak just really put the race to bed. So you've got to say that I think it's going to be really hard to beat Katak. But our horse is fit and well, and we'll certainly be trying our best.
Okay, Brett, on to the 7th race, and here you've got Princess Irene and Heaven's Embrace. You want to touch on them in that 7th race for us?
Yeah, Princess Irene has also come off quite a lengthy spell, but I think she's a filly that will appreciate a bit of sting out the ground. We know she stays well. She's a high-rated filly, so she's managed to have some grass gallops in. So I think she'll run a good race. Her gallop last week was pleasing enough for me. But obviously, I would think that the stable elect would probably be Heaven's Embrace. She's had 2 very good comeback runs, all way short of the distance that she's looking for, being both a mile. Now we go up to the 1800. And I think that this filly's on track to get back in the winner's box.
Okay, so there we go. Strong talk there on Heaven's Embrace in the 7th race. Well, 2 more horses to go. We're talking about Sugar Girl in the 8th race. That's the Champagne Stakes, the sprint over 1,200 meters. Sugar Girl from the Kaya Stables. Last time out, you want to draw a line straight through? That was the first run this year. But what do you think of Sugar Girl?
Yeah, Nico, also first run back after a long break. She traveled well for a long way, and then obviously just needed it. She is a filly that I think will appreciate if the ground is not too soft. She likes a bit of sting out the ground, but I don't think she would want it heavy. She's also got a nice high high rating, and obviously things turn a lot now, being a weight for age or a conditions race where she's not giving a lot of weight away. Last time she ran, she gave weight to the whole field. So everything that that ran against her in the Olympic duel is now much closer to her in the weights. So that's definitely got to bring her a couple of lengths closer. So her work at home's been solid, and look, I think she'll run much improved. And she's a filly. If you play wide there, she could be a worthy inclusion to add into a bigger firm.
And Brett, let's wrap it up with Light of My Life. We had a very pleasing debut for you, the 2-year-old. He is certainly a horse that will go pretty close on that first run in that last race.
Yeah, very much, Nico. A very, very pleasing debut. He's a lovely horse, big, strong horse. His work at home's been good. I feel he's come on from that debut run immensely. And as you say, I haven't had a chance to look at exactly what's in the race. But just on the strength of his debut, he's made progression at home, and I see no reason why he shouldn't be a hard horse to beat on the weekend.
Yeah, I think he's certainly the right horse over there, Brett. Well, all the best to you. Thanks very much for chatting to us. I know you've had long hours traveling up and down, but that's the hard life of a racehorse trainer. You guys don't have it easy. We take it for granted. I mean, your early mornings and so forth, and you guys have to do quite a bit for your owners, certainly to get the owners to stay in your yard. They've got to see that you do the hard yards, and you're certainly doing that, Brett. And, well, you can have some time to relax, not go to Durban, and watch it all from your comfort of your home on Saturday.
Yeah, well, Nico, we'll be off to Durbanville this afternoon, and hopefully we'll have a bit of fortune there. We got some nice runners there today. So
what's your best?
You said, racing, there's never time. What's my best today?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, Nick, I've actually got a few chances today. I'm hoping.
Well, let's hope you pick up a few. Hey, Brett, thanks so much for your time. All the best to you and to Gwen. And we'll see you at the National Yearling Sales coming up next weekend.
Pleasure. Okay, Nico. Keep well.
Thanks so much. All the best.
Okay, bye.